well, that is the court, but it's froze. This is one.
This is one?
But it's from Will's camera over there.
Okay, so it's from the other angle.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, good.
Focus on the sidewalk. Thank you.
Okay, we are practicing serves.
Pretty good shot, dude.
Well, it is 95 degrees out, and that's just the air temperature. We expect the heat index to be pushing, if not exceeding, 100 degrees here this afternoon. You can hear the breeze, and it is much needed as they are playing tennis anyway, as the Defiance Bulldogs girls welcome the Archbold Blue Streaks. Welcome aboard, everybody. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show is underway. It will be an abbreviated one here, as we are just minutes away from first serve. Brent Balvanot alongside Scoop Miller. Scoop, we've got two teams with a lot of talent that will be taking the courts. We're going to be working our way around the complex here this afternoon. We've got number one singles, which is the camera you're looking at right now. The singles will be played right next to each other, 1, 2, and 3. And then on the far side of the complex, we will have both the varsity doubles matches taking place simultaneously. So as we work our way through this afternoon's meet, we'll be showing you a little bit of everything. As there you take a look at the Archbold Blue Streaks, 2-1 in the Northwest Ohio Athletic League, and the Defiance Bulldogs picked up their first win in the WBL last night at St. Mary's. As the match you're looking at right now will be the number one singles match. It'll be Jade Whitaker, a junior, her first year on varsity for Archbold, taking on Alyssa Ritchie. She is a senior, and according to head coach Amy McDonald, has the best all-around skill set of any member of the team. This one promises to be a good one.
It really does. Alyssa Ritchie off to a really fantastic start this season. She's 4-2 in her 6 singles matches. Defiance as the team comes in 3-3 overall. Archbold overall 2-2 on the season. They've had a couple tough losses to some very good teams, Bryan and Maumee Valley Country Day. Both these teams do have one common opponent, Brent, that's Napoleon. Defiance defeated Napoleon 4-1. Meanwhile, Archbold defeated Napoleon 3-2. So I think this ought to be a fantastic matchup, and first serve now underway.
As you're taking a look at the number one seed, singles-wise at least, for Archbold, Jade Whitaker. And again, Alyssa Ritchie in the far court. And when we talked to Amy McDonald, we were getting the breakdown of her players, and she just simply said Alyssa Ritchie is a baseliner. She will not rush the net much, even though she's arguably one of the better net players, but she is just content to go ahead and be a backstop at the baseline and wait for her opponent to make an unforced error.
Well, you're right. She's like a wall out there, and she has not only just a solid ground stroke from the forehand side, but she also has a solid backhand shot, as we saw in the first point, and that shot there by Jade Whitaker is going to sail long. So a good start here for Alyssa Ritchie. She takes a love 30 advantage here in this opening game.
You say Jade Whitaker standing very much in the center of the court to serve. So again, not looking for angles as much as maybe just to put the ball in play, as that one is a little bit long. You can hear the wind over our crowd mics from our headsets here, Scoop. Again, if that's at your back or if you're facing it, I'll be curious. It will be interesting to see how much of an effect that has on the players this afternoon.
Well, that's the one thing about high school tennis. You know, the elements always come into play, whether it's the wind, maybe the sun. You know, sometimes you've got overcast, but these athletes are excited to be out here, and what's been a fantastic start for both these programs. Defiance last year, just 2-15 on the season. They've already had 3 wins on the young season. Here we're still in August, so they have to be pleased with the progress they've seen this season.
Well, Amy McDonald was a long-time coach here. She actually still is a long-time coach. She took a couple of years away from coaching. Very popular Spanish teacher here in the district, but she has come back to coach. We had a lot of questions for her, and she goes, to be honest with you, she goes, I'm brand new with this group. She goes, they lost 3 seniors from last year, so they have 3 returners. Other than that, she goes, I'm learning watching just as much as you guys are.
Well, that's true, because, you know, she has 13 different girls on the roster, and she's still they're still having challenge matches. There's still been some jockeying around positions, and there you see they also moved from Division 2 to Division 1, and boy, that makes it awfully tough.
Yes.
There, most of the teams in WBL are actually Division 2. Defiance is Division 1. Make it tough when the postseason rolls around.
Those 3 returning lettermen are the top 2 single seeds, and Alyssa Ritchie and Maria Moriera Chavez will be checking in on her court as well. There we're switching over to doubles, and that is the number 1 doubles team of Lily Delaney, who is a sophomore, and the other returner, Greta O'Connor, a senior. And again, shot placement Be interesting to watch the doubles here, but we are back to the number 1 singles on the first court, as it will be Richie to serve. And there we have a look at the doubles. Scoop, in my day, you played them separately. As a matter of fact, we had 6 singles for varsity and then 3 doubles matches. And quite often, unless you had a doubles specialist, the 1-2 singles were the number 1 doubles. Likewise,
right.
2 and 3 singles were the number 2 doubles. So you might finish your match very quickly, but if your doubles partner was playing an extended, maybe even a 3-set match, you had to figure out a way to, number 1, stay mentally locked in, but also maybe rehydrate. That's going to be huge on a day like today. You had to find a way to make sure you were still playing at your best. It's a lot different nowadays, where you've got 3 singles, 2 doubles, and given very few exceptions, everybody's playing simultaneously.
Yeah, those made for some long days when you had to wait around after your singles match, maybe wait for your partner to finish up, and then you played a doubles match following that. Of course, now at the high school level, 3 singles matches, 2 doubles matches. And of course, if you can win 3 of those 5, you get credit for winning the match.
You are golden. We're looking at the number 1, again, singles match, as it is Whitaker for Archbold and Richie for Defiance. Taking a look at their win last night, their first in conference play at St. Mary's, as they won it 3-2. Alyssa Ritchie won convincingly in straight sets, 6-1, 6-1, as did Maria Moreira Chavez, as she defeated Lily Hernandez 6-love and 6-love.
Yeah, Defiance has had tremendous results from the 1 and 2 singles.
Yep.
Those 2 players, as you mentioned, Brent, they've combined for 9 wins here in the early going.
Oh, that was a beautiful return on arguably one of the best, if not the best, early serves so far from Ritchie. But Whitaker, nifty looking ground stroke there, pinned her deep and kind of getting caught in no man's land. We'll mention that phrase more than once over the course of this afternoon's broadcast, as Ritchie getting that first serve in. Does she want to stay at the net? This is a rarity, ladies and gentlemen, and a drop shot. Now, there is where Coach McDonald would say, yeah, you could do that more. You've got more of that in you, but she's more often than not content to go ahead and just be a baseliner.
Well, that's what Coach McDonald said really verbatim before the match. In fact, she would love to see Alyssa Ritchie maybe be a little bit more aggressive, get to the net, because she does have an excellent short game there, very strong with the volleys.
Now here is court number 2, and that is Maria Moreira Chavez, as she is taking on Autumn Brennan, a junior in her first year on varsity for Archbold. So we'll give you some flavor of the number 2 and the number 3 singles, as there you see the top 3 singles courts lining one right up after another. Boy, that wind is really picking up. On a 95-degree day, I don't think anybody's going to complain about it, but you already saw once earlier, Alyssa Ritchie had to save her toss on her serve because the wind was playing tricks with it, and she's waiting right now, hoping that it will die down just a little bit. And just as I say that, a huge gust comes up underneath and maybe gives her just a little extra something on it. But man, you could hear it over our headset mic there. The minute she put the racket strings to it, it just whipped up.
Oh, that's a big part of Ritchie's game, though. She's very solid serving, been very consistent this season. There she gets a service winner. Another strong first serve and back-to-back service winners there for Ritchie.
I'm going to be honest, I hated the wind. It toyed with my game, probably toyed with my mental part of my game more than my physical. And I remember my coach always saying, hey, that wind's blowing on both sides of the net. And I'm like, yeah, but he deals with it better than me. Windy days always just gave me fits. As they were taking a look at the number 1 doubles teams. This is Lily Delaney for Defiance, along with senior Greta O'Connor, and Ireland Hugg and Riley Stuckey, a pair of juniors. Had a chance to ask some of the players a few questions. They weren't used to being pre-game, getting pre-match interviews. But talking with Lily Delaney, she said her serve return, she feels, is really come around this year. As a matter of fact, Coach McDonald said she's probably the most improved member of the tennis squad, at least to this point in time of this season.
Yeah, she's another one of those girls, too, that, you know, has worked hard to improve, and, you know, she brings such a positive attitude, as Coach McDonald mentioned as well.
As here we are back to the doubles, the number 1 doubles in the forefront here. It's Delaney and O'Connor, and Hug and Stuckey on the far side. The number 2 doubles teams of Morgan Brown and Natalie Kost, a sophomore and a freshman, taking on Reagan Gherkin and Autumn Nafsinger, a pair of sophomores. Back to number 1 doubles here on the near court. Good low backhand, well placed down the near line, and I'm not sure if Whitaker thought that Richie was going to go cross court. She didn't budge, Scoop, and that was just a beautiful two-handed fisted backhand down the far line, and it looks like she's ready for the changeover.
Great shot by Richie. I love the racket preparation there. She was able to get in position early there, and then she had really the whole court open either side. She goes down that forehand side, hits the winner, and quickly Alyssa Ritchie up 3-0 on Jade Whitaker.
And there you see, getting some much needed water, taking an impromptu bath on a 97-degree day. But you know, with that hard court out there, Scoop, it is baking. They call it feet heat, and I'm going to guess it's easily triple digits out on that court right now, and she's going to take a little extra time.
No question about it. We know how warm it is in the shade here.
Yes.
Think about not only being the sun, but you have that surface there that's absorbing that sun as well.
Yep.
So the one thing both teams were instructed ahead of the game, you know, typically you get water to changeovers anytime they need to take water breaks today. Both coaches agreed that, hey, let's let these girls stay as well hydrated as possible. Something that's going to be easier said than done here this afternoon.
And there you get a good look at Alyssa Ritchie as she's taking her water jug to the far corner with her. That's a wise move. That's why she's number 1 seed, ladies and gentlemen. She knows everything, not just how to play the game, but the other intangibles that go with it.
Well, that's part of that high
tennis IQ
that we know that she possesses. So right now, trying to hold serve. She's got 2 service breaks early here against the junior Jade Whitaker.
As some of our cameras working their way around the complex, this is Ritchie to serve after the changeover against Jade Whitaker, the number 1 seed for Archbold. Whitaker being aggressive, coming into the net, and boy, that's just well placed. Whitaker is tall, Scoop, but again, I would think, depending on your comfortability, we're feeling out these players as well as we watch their games here. She was tentative when she approached there.
Yeah, that's too bad too, because you want to see her get to the net, but that time just a tough shot there by Ritchie. She used the wind to her advantage that time. She was hitting to a stiff wind, so hit that high lob hard, but it dropped down quickly.
Ooh, that one's going to sail. And again, wind to your back, I'm going to guess, Scoop, we're talking 20, 25 miles an hour, maybe even a little bit more. So anything that gets elevated more than probably 3 or 4 feet above the tape, it's probably going to sail. It's going to get an extra boost if it's at your back. It's going to die a quick death if you're hitting into it. And right now, Ritchie is serving into it, and she's taking her time, waiting for it to die down a bit. And she will hammer one. Ooh, and a tough miss hit there by Whitaker. Here's
right
some
now,
applause. There's a good gallery here, Scoop. As I look to our left, everybody lining up underneath the tree line here on what would be the, south part of the complex. But I'm guessing here we've got probably 40, 50 people here. That's just down here. I'm looking at probably another dozen on the far side watching doubles. So there's a good contingent to watch today. Yeah,
very impressed. I've seen many folks from both Defiance and Archbold out here support these young ladies, and another strong serve on the 1 singles court.
Here we've got doubles, and I believe this is the 2nd doubles team, or nope, check this. This is still the 1st doubles team of Delaney and O'Connor for Defiance and Hug and Stuckey for Archbold.
Yeah, right now, Riley Stuckey, the junior, she's the one serving here for the Blue Streaks. There you see Stuckey there, serving from near the doubles alley.
Trying to lob over. Did that catch the tape?
I think that was just wide. Looked like the right idea. But that time trying to hit the lob over the top of Ireland Hug, but it just kind of carried with that wind. It carried to the east side there.
So it looks like we've got some good competition going on for the number 1 doubles competition here, if I can be redundant. Good competition amongst the competition, Scoop.
Yeah, this is always a good match. Last year, Archbold won this match in Archbold 4-1, but I think Defiance trying to turn that around this year. We've seen some rapid improvement here in the first 6 matches. We'll see if that can carry over today. Both these teams have very busy weeks. They both have 4 matches
to say
on
the least,
consecutive days. And then you throw the little bit of heat factor we have this week as well. There'll be some tired young athletes by the end of the week.
Well, that's just it. If you can play back-to-back, there's enough oil in the joints of these youngsters to play a couple matches in 2 days. 3, yeah, you probably still could if you're in good shape, but by the time you get to day 4, I got to figure you're going to be running on vapor, as that's a quick reaction, and that ball got right on top of Lily Delaney a little quicker than she thought. Again, this is the #1 doubles match. The #2 doubles you can see in the far court there, consisting of Morgan Brown and Natalie Kost for Defiance, and Reagan Gherkin and Autumn Nafsinger, a pair of sophomores for Archbold.
And talking to Archbold 10th year head coach Logan Wise, you know, he's got 16 girls in the roster. You know, he doesn't have that really that superior one player. He's got several that are kind of mixing and fight for different spots, but what that does, it usually gives you pretty good doubles when you have several players that are good enough to be playing at the singles level.
And that would have been a ball in play, but there was a ball from the far court that rolled across, so they're going to have to replay it. So there you saw the singles and the doubles teams. We're back to the court #1, the #1 singles matchup between Ritchie and Whitaker for Defiance and Archbold, respectively. This one's happening right in front of us. And right now, Jade Whitaker just, if I were her coach right now, I'd say slow down. You can tell by the body language right there, Scoop. She's frustrated. That's where you just need to take a deep breath sometimes. And how often do you hear coaches say, just slow things down?
Well, I think you're right. You know, that time Whitaker had a very strong serve there to Ritchie, but Ritchie with a superior return. And sometimes that can frustrate you, you know, especially when we talked about, you know, Whitaker really being first-time player.
Well, there's a conversation going on here about something. I'm not sure if whether a ball was a serve might have been in or out, or whether somebody got to a ball on a second bounce. The coaches made this mention during the pre-meet instruction. It's like, we want you to solve things on your own as much as possible. She goes, if you absolutely cannot, then you can come to us. There are 3 certified coaches here today if somebody wasn't comfortable enough and would ask for an official, in air quotes. But right there you saw how things were worked out between the 2 of them, and that one's going to sail long. And right now the frustration setting in for Jade Whitaker.
Yeah, right now Whitaker's had a tough time with the wind at her back. A lot of her shots on typical days are going to land near the baseline. They've been sailing a little bit long, so that's something these athletes will make an adjustment to as this match unwinds.
Well, and I'll be curious how that handles, because if she turns, when they do the next changeover, she's going to be in the face of that 20-mile-an-hour wind, and then I would tell her, go ahead and let it rip. Go ahead and hit it like you just did, because the wind is probably going to knock it down even shorter than normal. But getting acclimated to the wind here today looks like it's going to take at least a few more games, as Ritchie puts her first serve into the net. She'll get a second.
Yeah, it's really been a weather-wise a really good fall season. Even in the preseason, you've not had these types of conditions. So,
and again, another conversation here. I'm not sure what's happening between the 2. They're trying to sort out.
I think they're debating a score, trying to figure out.
I think they are. Yep, you can tell by Whitaker. She's counting near court, far court, ad court, deuce court. I think there was some confusion, Scoop. I think you're right as to what the score was. Now, technically, it should be, again, for those that are tennis novices, if you are hitting into the court that they're standing right now, this would be considered the deuce court. And the ad court would be on the left. So Ritchie, waiting for that wind to die down, has a little bit more of a higher serve, and she'll put her first serve into the base of the net. The singles 2 and 3 on the adjacent courts here look like they are taking breaks for water or maybe a changeover. And again, I think they're still trying to sort out the score here, Scoop.
I think Whitaker felt that was a double fault, and I'm not sure if they had a let on the first serve.
I have to see if we can get clarification as Whitaker smacks that ball, but again, a little high, and that wind is at your back. You can hear it, folks. It is taking everything. If you're playing with your back to it, what would you say? Probably an extra 2 or 3 feet farther than what would be normal.
You know, I would say easily. You know, depending on how high you're hitting the tennis athletes, I think we'll kind of figure things out and adjust as they go.
Well, there you saw a good aggressive backhand, and Whitaker charged, and I think maybe that, I don't know if it was surprised Richie a little bit, but right now Whitaker trying anything to get back into this first set as we go back to the far court, and this is doubles number 1. Again, Delaney and O'Connor for Defiance, and Hug and Stuckey for Archbold. That ball right into your living room. You can see the challenge here because when you're playing in adjacent courts like this, Scoop, no fence or net in between them like they are on that far side, a stray ball from one of your teammates can end a point very quickly. And that was just a nice two-fisted backhand. Was that?
That was Ireland Hug.
Ireland
a tremendous
Hug.
point that time.
Really was nifty.
For the Blue Streak duel that time. Looked like a pretty good rally going on, but the fact that Hug and Stuckey really had Defiance on defense most of that point, they ended up securing a point. Here we are back at number 1 singles.
Oops, and that ball bounces twice as Whitaker got caught backpedaling. And right now I'm trying to see where the score marker on the far side is. Is it 5-love? I believe it is.
I believe so.
Okay, and there you get a good look at the number 1 singles player for Defiance, Alyssa Ritchie. She's going to catch some wind and something to drink as that ball marked over. She just has country club written all over her, doesn't she? Yeah, make it 5-love. She just strikes me as the type that, you know, could pull up in a convertible Beamer, her shades on. I think she's playing with Babolat equipment, if I'm not mistaken. You know, a slew of rackets and a couple bags over her shoulder, shades, just styling. She's got that look about her.
I tell you what, she also has all the shots. You know,
yes,
you
she
and I
does.
watched
She's got
her
game.
warm up. We mentioned her high tennis IQ, but good volley game, good long game, good service game. And now it looks like we're going back to number 1 doubles. We'll try to get you a score if we can get an update.
I'm not sure who our cameraman is over there, if it's Ryan possibly, but the next changeover, if maybe our cameraman could just ask one of those 4 players what the score is. It's still in the first set, I believe. We've got action resuming in the 2 and 3 singles courts just to the left of where this number 1 is. There you see Richie talking with one of the assistants. Have not seen either of the coaches, not sure where they're working their way around the complex here this evening.
Well, both these teams are so well coached. We talked about the job that, of course, Logan Wise in his 10 seasons, and of course Amy McDonald. She's coached a lot of years here at Defiance as well, off and on, so to speak. But there you see a little coaching here going on the side, and on paper, and again, it's on paper, but Defiance appears to have the stronger singles players, where Archbold maybe have an edge in the doubles. So for the Blue Streaks, they're going to need to hold both doubles courts and somehow break through in the singles courts.
I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe Richie's going to grab her water jug. Yes, that's what she's doing. I thought for a second she might have been having, I'm not sure what. I was thinking maybe just feeling a little lightheaded.
They're giving extended breaks
Correct.
today with the heat, which is just intelligent, and credit both these coaches for getting together and making that happen for these young ladies.
Now here's on the flip side, if you are Jade Whitaker, you know, she's ready. She's antsy. She knows she's down 5-love, and she's got to stay locked in. She's kind of been pacing the back baseline, kind of probably talking to herself a little bit, bouncing the tennis ball, whereas here, Richie and the rest of the coaching staff are taking a little time. This Coach Wise walking right in front of us here.
Coach Wise played for the Blue Streaks under head coach Steve Reddick back in the day. Used to give me a run for my money in gym class every now and then.
So here we go, trailing 5 love. Whitaker's just trying to find her groove, and that's tough. And she puts that backhand into the net for an unforced error.
Usually you try to exploit something when you're playing in a match. You try to exploit the opponent's weakness. Right now we have just not seen that weakness from Richie. She's been very solid on the backhand and forehand side. She hasn't gone to the net a lot, but when she's been very successful. Of course, her serve's been very consistent.
Well, second serve for Whitaker is in. She's going to charge the net. That's a good approach, and that's just a better return by Richie, threading the needle down the far line.
Well, that's a great rally by both young ladies. I really like what Whitaker did right there. She had a nice serve. She saw a chance to get to net, aggressive approach shot. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap. And that time, Alyssa Ritchie hits the winner down the line.
We don't have exact scores, but what we're being told is that Defiance is ahead in all 3 singles matches. However, Archbold is ahead in both the doubles matches. So,
but again, that's kind of what we expected coming in. And for Archbold, I think they got to find a way to maybe sneak out a singles win. Going to be awfully tough, especially at the 1 and 2 spots where Defiance is 9 and 3 combined in 6 matches this year in 1 and 2 singles.
That ball's going to sail just a little bit long, and now Alyssa Ritchie finding out what the frustration was for Jade Whitaker in that last match, as the wind taking everything a little bit farther than normal here, at least when you're playing with your back to it.
Really nice serve there by Whitaker, trying to battle her way back in this opening set, trailing big.
First serve short. Now there's your problem though too, serving into that wind. You're probably gonna have to put a little something extra on it. Second serve, she gets it over. And that one's long. Here's where, again, Scoop, I don't think you can play patty cake either way. I mean, if you are just kind of nonchalantly hitting the ball with that zephyr at your back, it's going to fly. Likewise, if you're just trying to get it over but into the wind, it's going to be well short. As here's Whitaker putting one right down the middle of the service box. A little bit of a drop shot and unable to hit that ball on the run. And Ritchie, I think, is this 30-15 right now? Whitaker up.
3 straight points here by Whitaker, so credit Whitaker for battling back. I think it's 40-15 right now. 2 opportunities to hold serve here.
That ball's going to sail long.
Good job by Ritchie fighting off one game point, but she'll have to do it again here.
But Whitaker's not messing around. She's ready to go, and she picks up her first game of this first set to make it 5-1.
That's impressive. A lot of times you fall behind 5-0, you start thinking second set, and you give a game away. But credit
well,
Whitaker,
now wait a minute.
She's
still serving, so she's serving to the deuce court here. So it must be.
Well, that's where she just serves. So I don't know if they had a let.
I'm not sure.
Or what happened, but they are serving again.
Who is it?
So it must be 40 deuce right now, and there's Ritchie able to.
That's going to sail long.
Does a good job of moving Whitaker east and west here, putting some tough shots in.
So this should be break point. It should be set point for Ritchie. Tristan, if we can go back to the first court singles, this is for the first set. If we can get our camera back for the potential point here. Can we go back to set?
There we go. And there's Whitaker with the serve. Good first serve in. Strong return.
Is she going to charge the net here? Nope, she's going to return. Stays in. Got to try and pin her back. Whitaker. And there it is. So that should have been break point, correct?
Yeah, that's first set there.
Okay.
Belongs to Ritchie. So nice job there. And you can see right now, Whitaker really feeling a little more comfortable there hitting into the wind than she is with the wind at her back.
So that was 6 love. Okay. So 6-love to Alyssa Ritchie for the first set in number 1 singles, as they'll have a changeover, and Alyssa Ritchie taking a shower at midcourt. She may need somebody to go grab her some more water. She's gone through quite a bit. Look at her. But you cannot argue with the result, as she is up big, 1-0. I'm not sure if any of our cameras are set up on singles courts 2 or 3. Again, second singles, Maria Chavez for Defiance, taking on Autumn Brennan for Archbold. We're back to doubles.
Yeah, nice point there for the doubles duel there for Defiance. Lily Delaney and Greta O'Connor trying to battle back. As we mentioned, we didn't have an exact score, but they were trailing here in this opening set.
Whoa, that was a put away. Nice slam there by Lily Delaney. She's one of the taller players on the roster. You can see her teammate, Greta O'Connor, maybe having a little fun with her as well. And that will sail along.
There's that wind really coming into play. We've seen that on both the singles and doubles courts.
I think they must be in the second set now. You can see, there we go. So that must have been set point.
I think this is
we're going to take a break.
First
yeah, we're going to take a quick timeout. More of our sponsors here and more of this meet when we come back. You are watching Defiance and Ayersville Girls Tennis on DCTV Sports.
For a present for someone special, Stanball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Discover top-quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top-quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
Welcome you back to Defiance High School as set number 1 in the number 1 singles match went 6-love for Alyssa Ritchie over Jade Whitaker. We're now switching to one of our far cams, and what you're seeing right now in the near court or the forefront of your camera shot here is the number 3 singles, and in the background there is the number 2 singles. That is Maria Moreira Chavez. Don't let those blow away. Maria Moreira Chavez against Autumn Brennan. In the near court, it is going to be Remy Ryan, a junior for Archbold, taking on sophomore Addie Beecher. As we're back to number 1 doubles here.
And Addie Beecher won the first set, as we could see from that scorecard. Yep. So Defiance ahead in all 3 singles matches to this juncture.
Which is good because we were told they were down in both doubles matches. So you need to take 3 out of the 5. And right now, Defiance singles players seem to be more than holding their own as we're taking a look at. That's a beautiful lob shot by Lily Delaney, keeping them pinned back. And she's, I was about to say, toying with that wind at her back, and that one went just a little bit long.
Yeah, when you get anything upstairs at all, it's just going to continue to carry. And credit Ireland Hug that time of Archbold there. Some really good rallies after a strong serve. And now she'll head to the ad court here to serve another.
Cannot tell what the score is from that angle. If they haven't finished the first set, they've got to be close. I think we may be in the second set here, aren't we?
The last I saw the score card over there, it was still first set. It appears it's maybe could be in the second set. I can't see the Archbold side of the score.
Can't tell. Well, I'm not sure if we can. There we go. Let's get some looks at second and third singles here. That is Maria Moriera Chavez, a senior. Saw her warming up with Alyssa Ritchie prior to the meet. Both of them seem to have pretty good ground strokes. And Coach McDonald realizes that she's now on camera. That's okay. Don't mind our camera crew.
And for Chavez, she's been outstanding. Last year, 17-0, playing doubles. This year, off to a 5-1 start.
We have both coaches on this court now, Scoop, and I'm not quite sure what the issue would be to bring both coaches up, but both players meeting with their coaches, and I'm not sure what's happening here. Is there a dispute? There must be. So not sure.
It's probably a matter of whether is it 40-30 or 30-40, depending on if the call was in, calls out. That's the one thing about high school. You sometimes can't hear the call, and especially on the windy days,
sure,
if you don't pronounce it loud or make a good hand gesture, it's easy to see how you could maybe lose track of a point. A ball that you might have thought was in and your opponent might have thought it was out.
Well, as this conversation continues, maybe if we can switch back to that far cam so we can see the number 3 singles court, which would be just to the left. There we go. Nice job, gentlemen.
Remy Ryan, of course,
and
for
Addie
Archbold,
Beecher.
and Beecher for the Bulldogs.
And as you can see, 1 set to love right now for Addie Beecher. Waiting for Addie Beecher to serve. She serves wide, so she's just off to the right side of your screen there. And looks like both players. Stay with it there, gentlemen. We're in the middle of a rally. Thank you. Watching both players with their baseline game, and that must have gone out of bounds.
Good long rally there at number 3 singles. As Remy Ryan trying to mount a comeback down 1 set to love here.
At least try to get the middle of the left side.
Putting a little English on that, and that was just a beautiful serve. That had some backspin on it. Now, should that not have been an ace? Yes, and I'm not sure if Remy Ryan is aware of that, or did we have a stoppage of play for some reason?
That's the only thing I can think of right now is maybe a ball rolled out.
Could have been.
Looks like we'll serve it again.
Yeah, she has a short serve. And we're talking to Coach McDonald. That is her game plan. That's her basically her chess move, so to speak. She will try and draw the opponent in, and then once she does so, she has a very good lob. So, and she'll live and die with that sword more often than not.
Yeah, it's really an strategy, but if you have a great lob like she does, it probably works to your advantage, trying to attract and draw your opponent to the net. That kind of plays into your strong suit.
And in the background there, you can still see both sets of coaches talking things over with their players at the number 2 singles court, which is in the background there. Again, that's Chavez and Brennan. And I'm not sure what is the cause for the extended conversation, but match has not continued yet. Okay. And now we've got more people having a discussion, and it seems to be cordial, but this is a delay. I'm not sure if it's a court issue, if it is a player issue, a health issue. I mean, seriously, we won't speculate. We will not guess. But the number 2 singles match has been delayed now for, how long would you say, Scoop? Going on 10 minutes, if not more.
I'd say pushing 10 at this juncture. And really the basic rule of thumb in high school tennis, if you feel you need a line judge, each team usually then will step in and call the shots. I rarely have seen that. I've seen it a few times, but not very often.
Well, as this one delays, let's see if we can get a court with some action on it, whether it's the number 1 singles back in front of us, which sees Defiance's Alyssa Ritchie up 1-0. We're going to go back to doubles here. This is on the far side. I think our camera operator has moved to the back side of the complex, so trying to get faces on some of the players. It looks like it's getting a little shady on that side. And is this still number 1? I believe it is. That certainly gives us a better look. That is the number 1 doubles matchup.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. No, you're okay.
And here is the number 1 singles matchup. There we go. We've got action going on the near court here in front of us. Again, Ritchie blanked Whitaker in set number 1, 6-love. This is into set number 2. We'll see if we can't maybe get a quick look at the score poll on the far side there. Is it 2-love? Is that what it's looking like? Kind of tough to tell on the far side.
Yeah, I believe so.
Ritchie taking her time. And Whitaker, there you go. Nicely done, gentlemen. It is 1-0 and 1-love. Really? Okay. Well done by our crew there. That's how you do it. As our focus switches back over to the number 1 doubles match, we've got a changeover. Conversation still taking place on the number 2 singles court, and a changeover on the number 3 singles court as Beecher and Ryan. It's 1-love right now for, looks like, Addie Beecher, and she's up 1-0. And putting strings to the racket is Remy Ryan. That ball sails wide. You can see in the background there, and we're dissolving to that. We've got play maybe resuming. Was there a net issue? Were they adjusting the net? Were they? You know what? I'm not going to speculate anymore. I just can't tell. Not sure. But it looks like whatever it is or was, play is about to resume on the number 2 singles court. Boy, on a hot day like today, Scoop, I don't care how well you're playing, or if you're not, you just don't like that much of a delay. As we're seeing doubles.
Looks like that backhand by Riley Stuckey sailed a little bit long, so Defiance secures that point.
You can probably hear the PA system from the football stadium across the parking lot here, as they've got a soccer match that's about to start up here very soon.
Great shot to net that time by Aaron and Hug there. Poaching the net there a little bit, coming up the valley for the winner.
We're back to the number 1 singles court. Number 1 for Defiance, Alyssa Ritchie, leading number 1 for Archbold Jade Whitaker, 1-0. She won that one 6-love, and as of last check, is it 1-love right now? Richie serving into the wind. Oh boy, no man's land, Whitaker. And that ball sails just a little bit long. Now serving to the ad court. This should be to the ad court, correct? Nope, she's coming over to the deuce.
Second doubles, or second singles. Fine, yeah.
So this must be 30-40 if I heard the score correctly. So we go over to the number 1 doubles. As we wait for play to resume there, on the second singles court, Scoop, there are 2 coaches. It's Coach Walls, and I'm trying to, I can't tell who the assistant is with his back to us for Defiance, but you have both, you have representation from both coaching staffs. So apparently there was something that could not be solved, so there will be officials. It looks like probably for the remainder of this match, unless something changes. Back to the number 1 doubles, and that's a nice cross. Or check that. This is number 2 singles here, and that's a nice put away by Chavez.
Yeah, it really was. Great job. Was able to stay patient enough and pick the time to go for the winner. She connected.
All right, so our camera right now is going to focus in and give the number 2 singles players a little bit more coverage. Again, that's Morera Chavez for Defiance, Brennan for Archbold. We're going to have a changeover, and well, she spun that around. We faded away. I believe it said 3-love. Was that correct?
That's what I saw in that quick spin. So again, Defiance really looking strong in the singles right now. Archbold looking strong in the doubles.
This is the number 2 set. And looks like a changeover. We've got changeovers going at the number 1 and the number 2 singles. And now there's our wide shot. It looks like our number 3 singles court might also be in the middle of a changeover as well. So our singles players all catching a little bit of a breather and maybe a little extra water, trying to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to the doubles. Stay put. Find one and stay on it, please.
There we go.
Thank you. We're going to do the doubles. That wind is whipping up here again, Scoop. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You like the edge that it takes off the sweat, but it does, as we've seen it has an effect on the ball.
Oh, it really does. And right now, Greta O'Connor serving at number 1 doubles here for Defiance.
And right now at this point, well, I was about to say just get it in, right? Again, if you trust your serve, especially if you trust your second serve, I'm not going to date myself. Actually, I am going to date myself. But playing back in the 80s, everybody remembers the name John McEnroe, obviously tremendous singles player. He had a doubles partner who was a specialist by the name of Peter Fleming. And I watched a clinic once where Peter Fleming said, if you are a good enough player, and he goes, I'm talking to advanced players now, but he goes, if you miss your first serve, you should be ready. You should know exactly what you did wrong. Get the ball back. And he goes, I take just a fraction off my second serve. He goes, that's my adjustment. Because he goes, if I hit it too low, my toss was bad, if my grip was bad, I should be able to adjust within the next 15 seconds and put that second serve in almost as fast as my first serve. Now, I know that was counter-cultural at the time, and I think it may still be now, because I hear so many coaches say, just get it in, just get it in. But I took that to heart, and I'm like, you know what? there's something to that. If I should know what I did wrong on my first serve, a small adjustment, a moderate adjustment, I shouldn't have to take everything off my second serve just to get it in. What was your philosophy when you played?
Well, it's interesting because my philosophy was very similar. You know, I wanted to be the aggressor, and it kind of started. I remember taking lessons at the South End Racket Club, and one day I walked in there, and there was a gentleman probably in his 60s at the time. Here I am, 14 years old, and I missed my first serve against him. On my second serve, I went with a little kick serve, you know, a little spin serve, tried to place it deep, and he grabbed it after one bounce and threw it back to me. And I said, well, that was it. He said, I'm not going to play if you don't hit your second serve as hard as your first serve.
Oh, wow.
And so
okay.
I did that, and I found, similar to Fleming, the fact I wasn't near at that level, but you know what? It's easy when you make that adjustment right on the fly there. You go right to that next serve, and it kind of stuck with me, you know.
Absolutely.
But I remember the day it changed in that racket club there in the South Bend. That guy was determined that, hey, you hit the second one. But Fleming, probably the most successful doubles player in the history of tennis. If he has something to say, I'm all ears.
Well, I would also say it helps when you're playing your
Well,
doubles
you have
partner is the
Johnny
number one
McEnroe.
singles player in the world too, right?
But McEnroe was no dummy. You know,
No.
he wasn't going to pick anybody to be his doubles partner,
Yep.
and he knew Fleming with his tall stature and his doubles awareness. Boy, those two were the best. They won so many, not just Wimbledon titles, but Grand Slams,
Yep.
you name it.
They were fun to watch. We're still staying locked in on the number one doubles court. I think number two doubles, have they finished up or are they just in a changeover? This is number two singles right now. And the advantage right there is you see the Archbold Blue Streaks line up, the top three singles players and then the two doubles teams, is Coach Wise can actually talk to both the number two and the number three singles players if they're both having a
Timing's
changeover
everything.
at the same time.
But when you saw that Archbold lineup, you notice all underclassmen here. You see for Defiance, seniors at 1 and 2 singles. They also have O'Connor, a senior at 1 double. So a little bit more experience on the Defiance side. But Archbold, we should mention, they lost 6 of their 7 varsity players due to graduation, yet going to be very strong this year, have 16 girls in the roster. So certainly doing something right over there in Archbold to get a lot of enthusiasm for girls tennis.
Well, with that changeover for Defiance, Maria Moriera Chavez was down. She was sitting down. I'm assuming she's just trying to save her legs. For a second there, I was concerned that she might have been affected by the heat, but she is up, and you can see her there walking to the far court under her own power. And we will wait, as this is going to be Autumn Brennan in the near court to serve. A very wide stance. And just a miss hit. She's ready to go. This is what Scoop and I were talking about. You don't need to wait. You make a quick adjustment, you know what you did wrong, and that one looks like it might have sailed a little long for a double fault as Autumn Brennan comes right into your living room. Back to number one doubles. And that's a swing and a miss, and that will be an ace for Archbold. Wind really howling now. The heat advisory was in effect for not just this area of Ohio, but most of the Midwest. Temperatures in the upper 90s. Heat index above triple digits, but they are playing today. That wind taking the edge off of things, but also making it just a bit trickier than normal on your serves, basically on everything. As Brennan, picture of concentration. Very low toss. That's a good cross-court shot by Chavez, and that's just a great court coverage by Brennan. And an even bet. That was a nifty point by both players.
Boy, it really was. What a great finish there. That time, really Chavez able to step into that nice, strong return there for the winner. This has been a great match. Chavez was able to pull out the first set, and here we're early in the second set. So Defiance has won the first set in all 3 singles matches.
And that is being called out. Brennan with a very wide stance and not a very high toss. It is very low.
You know, she's probably the best ground stroker for the Blue Streaks. Has a good baseline game. Probably the area she needs to work on the most is the serve. Once she gets that, she's going to be a tough out. You can see she has a high skill set.
And she'll let that one sail long.
We've seen that mistake so many times here today with that wind at your back. When you try to load up, just those extra 2-3 feet the ball seems to carry today have made a big difference.
Number 1 doubles has got to be winding down here. I'm not quite sure the score. Last we were told was that Archbold was leading. And that's just a miss hit. But again, you see that wind, I think, playing games with the toss right there for Lily Delaney. And again, also taking some steam off of it. You're going to have to put something on your serve when you're hitting into that wind today.
Yeah, it's really going to be tough to serve it deep here with that wind coming right into your living room. And that time took a little bit too much off the second serve. Ends up being a double fault.
This is back to the number 1 singles court, as Alyssa Ritchie took the first set 6-love, and if I'm seeing the score poll correctly, is up 3-love here in the second set.
She's been so consistent all day. Her serve game has really been outstanding, really putting the junior Jade Whitaker on the defensive side of things from the get-go. Right now, second serve coming up.
I can tell you this one. There you go, 3-love and up 1-0. I can empathize with Jade Whitaker. I was supposed to be our team's number 2 singles player, our number 1 singles player. Decided he didn't want to quit his part-time job in season, and they scheduled him on multiple, not only practices, but even on the days of a couple meets. So you could tell what the coach had to say. You got to pick one. And he chose the job. So I got elevated to number 1, and trust me, it takes some mental toughness to go meet in, meet out against the very best that every team has to offer. And there you take a good look. 2-love. Now check that, 2-1. The score in the number 3 singles match between Remy Ryan of Archbold and Addie Beecher of Defiance.
So Ryan, right now, really a big hope for Archbold, trying to come back here in the second set.
They're going to need at least 1 singles match. I don't think there's any question about it. Ritchie. She won last night convincingly over St. Mary's Peyton Wilson, 6-1, 6-1.
Yeah, it was the first WBL win for the Bulldogs this season. You know, last year they finished 1-8 WBL. Already got 1 win this season. 6 more matches to go. So a lot of optimism here in this Defiance camp this fall.
Take a look, deep breath. I would like to ask Alyssa Ritchie what her pre-serve ritual is. If she's thinking something to herself or it's just body language, she takes her time. She is one of those few players, especially at the high school level, that slower pace just doesn't seem to bother her one bit.
No, again, she's really solid, number 1. And Defiance is so blessed because they really have, I think, multiple girls who could fare very well in the 1 position. So that's not only a luxury to have, but it's also great practice when you've got some good competition as a 1 singles player you're going to see day in, day out. That's how you're going to become a stronger player.
There we go. That camera on the number 2 doubles match is zooming back. We'll get a good look at Morgan Brown and Natalie Kost for Defiance, and Reagan Gherkin and Autumn Nafsinger for Archbold.
It looks like Archbold up 1-0 there at 2 doubles and up 2-1 in the second set. Okay. So again, the Blue Streaks in the lead right now in both doubles, but trailing in all 3 singles matches.
Well, this is back to number 1 singles. And Ritchie and Whitaker having a discussion. Looks like they're not to a changeover, or are they here? Looks like they are. So we'll see where Alyssa Ritchie marks the ball. If it's 3-1, it's got to be a nod number, so it would either be, right now it's 3-love. I think she's taking a water break. She has to be, because you only switch on odd numbers. You wouldn't switch after the 4th game, so I think what we've got is an agreement from both players that they'll take a hydration break. And Alyssa Ritchie going to have to wring out that shirt when she gets home tonight. It is soaking wet. So this is the number 2 doubles team. Good crowd out here today.
Yeah, excellent crowd. This will be Morgan Brown, the sophomore, serving on 2 doubles, and here we're coming back. A little coaching going on here. It's the 1 single spot here is Alyssa Ritchie getting closer and closer to trying to pull out a straight set win here.
And again, here is a testimonial to the different styles between both the number 1 singles players. Here you see Ritchie just easy going, doesn't seem to bother her. Now granted, when you're up 1 set to nothing and already a break up in the 2nd set, she's just kind of as cool as the other side of the pillow. And on the flip side, you've got Whitaker, who's kind of pacing the baseline right now, really amped up. And this is normally where I would say, if I'm coaching Jade Whitaker, I'd say, slow down yourself. By slowing herself down, Ritchie is speeding you up, and you haven't even started this game.
I totally agree. I really like the approach of Alyssa Ritchie, though, the fact that she has her routine, she has her game plan, and she's staying with it. She's not letting the fact that right now we're seeing Whitaker just kind of pace and ready to serve. She's not speeding things up. She's staying within herself. She's been locked in. She's been focused on every game. Really done a nice job controlling this match at 1 singles.
Well, she winds up, and it's a very nice first serve. Is she coming in? And it won't matter. It's into the net.
That's the one thing that maybe Whitaker needs to do here if she wants to make a tremendous comeback, is when she has that wind to back, they've got that strong serve, maybe foul that in. It's going to be tough to make a passing shot into that stiff wind.
Second serve is in. That's going to sail long. Here's where I would say this, because you, again, have such a contradiction, it seems like, in not just approach to play, but I'm guessing now personality. I think Ritchie might be a little bit more the laid-back type. Not to say that she's unfocused, because clearly she is, but you've got Whitaker, who is right now just smacks the ball in her hand. I would say if you're Whitaker right now, you're playing with house money. Okay, I want to see you get aggressive. If you are amped up and you can't slow down, then I would rather see you make an aggressive mistake than a passive one. And they're stopping here as the national anthem is playing for the soccer match. I love this. This is fantastic. All the tennis players are stopping to recognize the national anthem being played at the soccer match.
Total respect. You have to love it from these high school athletes.
Well, what it also does is give you a chance to catch your breath. Even though it wasn't played for the tennis match, the national anthem, absolutely. Brought to you by Defiance County Veterans Office. Well done by both sets of teams. Classy, classy move.
Yeah, that's just tremendous. That's a credit to both these programs right here.
Coach, you've been doing this a long time. I've been doing it longer than I care to admit. Every now and then, there are moments, whether they are performance related or they're just situational, that you will never forget. I'm telling you right now, in over 30 years of broadcasting, that moment right there for an athletic event that the anthem wasn't even being played for, I am not going to forget. That was special.
Yeah, that was just all impromptu from the kids
Yep.
right there. That was all on them, nothing that was prearranged or in our notes or anything. And
the fans got up too.
And that is very touching. We all, I'm sure, obviously have so much to be thankful for. But every time I hear the anthem, I think of so many family members that who are part of the armed forces, and so many great people, not just here at Defiance and Archbold, but all over the country here, that we just owe more gratitude than we could possibly give.
Absolutely. Back to the number one singles. As Whitaker went to the net, she had 2, maybe even 3 overheads that Ritchie was able to return, but she finally wins the point. Right now I'm just watching her, and Scoop, I know it's easier said than done if it's not your makeup. I know you know the kids from Archbold, obviously being a teacher over there, but my guess is Jade Whitaker is a spitfire. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, she's a great kid too. She's a competitor. You can see it out there. She wears it on her sleeve out there, and not really happy with the way things have gone. But again, a lot of this is Alyssa Ritchie.
Absolutely.
She just played at such a high level. She's been doing that this entire fall campaign.
Like right there.
Look at
that is just, you can't do anything about that. That is Alyssa Ritchie just being perfect.
Yeah, you couldn't walk out there and drop it in a better spot. And again, the fact that she's able to hit it into the wind like that, a tough lob back in the corner, running away there from Whitaker. And that's going to cap an impressive match, or impressive game there.
Yep.
Because again, Ritchie just continues to play at a high level.
Well, I think that is the match. At 5-love, she is going to mark it. And so 6-love, 6-love. Alyssa Ritchie just dominant here this afternoon. We take a look at her, and Scoop, I don't know what her nickname is, but I'm going to nickname her Country Club because she's got the look.
Well,
Absolutely.
She secures the first point for Defiance as they take a 1-0 advantage here.
All right, so let's take a break with the number one seed at singles now done. 6-love, 6-love. Alyssa Ritchie dispatches Jade Whitaker. We're going to take a quick timeout. We are back with more Defiance High School girls tennis taking on Archbold on DCTV Sports.
Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Stadium Drive in Defiance and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com. The Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level. The Strady Center for the Arts presents a full lineup of culture and entertainment right here in our community. Check out the full lineup and purchase your tickets today at defiancearts.org.
Back at Defiance High School, singles number one seed for Defiance, Alyssa Ritchie, has picked up the first point of today's meet against Archbold with a 6-love, 6-love win over Jade Whitaker. Right now we are taking a look at the number 3 singles taking place in the front court. In the back court, it is number 2. It's Autumn Brennan for Archbold, taking on Maria Moriera Chavez. And taking a peek at 2 and 3 here. We still have linesmen, if you want to call them that. There's representation from both teams on the number 2 singles court. The number 1 doubles and the number 2 doubles, they've got to be winding down. All we were given was that Archbold was in the lead in both of those, but boy, they've got to be tight, Scoop. They're still going.
Yeah, it's been a pretty long match. Both teams, again, this is one of those matches on paper, pretty evenly matched across the board. We both talked about that they both had common opponents in Napoleon. They both beat Napoleon, so you figured this was probably going to be a highly contested match, and right now it has not disappointed. As the outcome for the team title here today is still in jeopardy. But right now, Defiance with a slight lead.
6-love, 6-love. Yep, we've got that one. And let's see, number 1 doubles is Archbold 1, 6-1, 6-2. It looks like. Okay.
So that'll even
Thank
up
you,
this
Coach.
match here is the 1 singles.
We got a tight one today.
And 1 doubles are in the book. So each team now with a point. Of course, it's a best of 5 here, so it takes 3 to win. So some pivotal matches going on. And as we mentioned earlier, Archbold in the lead in 2 doubles, the last we were aware of. And right now, Defiance has won the first set in both 2 and 3 singles, but the second set in both those matches, I think, in jeopardy right now.
Yep. Well, if you are a competitor, if you got an ounce of juice to you, this is the type of situation you love, don't you?
Oh, you do. You know, the fact that, that right now the match really is in the balance and you're out there still playing, so the pressure kind of shifts to you, but a lot of kids embrace that. You know, they want that to kind of fall on their shoulders, so to speak, and just the makeup of both these programs, the type of kids they have, I'm sure a lot of these kids kind of rival in that moment. But boy, we have some really good tennis going on here. Here you see a look at 2 singles. 2 very solid players in Autumn Brennan for Archbold. And of course, Maria Moriera Chavez for Defiance. And of course, Chavez off to a fantastic start, 5-1 this year. Last year, 17-0 as a doubles player. But Brennan's given her a handful here so far tonight. There's a great shot there by Chavez down the line there, deep in the court to secure that point.
And here is the number 2 singles court. So it looks like there's a changeover on 3. Chavez covers a lot of ground, Scoop. Oh, that's just beautiful. Backhanded cross court and painted in the corner.
Well, that was a tough shot. She was able to hit that ball on the rise, and she did it aggressively. As you mentioned, the placement there on that cross court winner, fantastic. Good looking backhand that time by Chavez. I think that return from Brennan was just a little bit long.
Now we're hearing calls from multiple courts here as Chavez, I thought she might charge there, but Scoop again. Boy, I tell you what, that 2-fisted backhand cross court has had some smoke on it.
Yeah, and that's a tough shot because that ball had plenty of kick to it. Again, she stepped into it nicely.
And that's match. That was match point.
Match point. So now Defiance with a win at 1 and 2 singles.
Yep.
Now is up 2-1. So Archbold now must win the remaining 2 matches, or Defiance will secure their 4th win of the season.
2, 3, 4, 5. Cannot tell. You see a tight one there. 4 games to 2 in set number 2 for the number 3 seed.
So that's 3 games in a row, at least according to the scoreboard there for Addison Beecher. as she now is up 4-2 in the second set. Remember, Beecher won the first set, so right there, if she can get 2 more games here, Defiance will secure the team victory here tonight.
Again, Beecher looking to pretty much wind this one down, regardless of what happens at number 2 doubles. Again, you need to win 3 out of 5. Got some JV doubles action taking place on the court in front of us. They've been licking their chops, Scoop. I know when I was a youngster, always had to wait to be able to get on the court after being a good teammate and cheering on usually your upperclassmen. But right now, the match of interest is there. You see number 2. Coach is going to come over and give us an update. It looks like, again, Maria Moriera Chavez won 6-2, 6-love. So number 3 singles now becomes very, very pivotal. Was it 6-2, 6-love? Is that what it was?
6-2, 6-love. So impressive win by Chavez, who now goes to 6-1 on the season, playing at number 2 singles here for Defiance.
On number 2 doubles, we're seeing 4-love as this match is over. Okay, and it was already 1-0 and it was white was Archbold, right? So
yes.
Green was Defiance, so it looks like Defiance has won the number 2 doubles, correct? Or did I misread
Archbold,
that?
I believe Archbold won 2 doubles, so that will even up the match. So now all the chips are on the table here at number 3 singles.
All right.
Which it'll boil down to is this match is even at 2-2. Archbold sweeping the 1-2 doubles. Defiance winning the 1-2 singles.
So here we go. We have one match. You're looking at it right there in the near court. It is 4-2, and it is Defiance right now, and specifically Addie Beecher, the sophomore, taking on junior Remy Ryan, trying to close out what is a white-knuckle ride right now for both these teams.
It really is, and Beecher, has an experience as a singles player. Last year she played 3 singles for the Bulldogs. For Remy Ryan, this is her first year in the varsity, so this is kind of uncharted water for Ryan, but certainly she shows a lot of potential there as a junior, getting bumped into the singles after Archbold graduated 6 solid players from a year ago.
Beecher trying to get the break here. You go up 5-2 and you are sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah, right now you have to think that you're just 1 break down. So if you get a break, you get back on serve, anything can happen. Boy, there's a tough serve there. That had a lot of backspin to it. And Ryan that time just a little bit too deep. She had a long way to go, got a racket on it, but could not hit it cleanly.
Well, this shot coming from one of our situated cameras. There we go. There's a live cam shot cross court. Now again, that's a JV doubles match that's taking place in the near ground, but it's that far ground, that far court, that will decide who wins the varsity match here this afternoon.
Well, it's nice to see so many kids playing for both these programs. As we mentioned, Archbold 16 on the roster, Defiance 13 on the roster.
And Scoop, these aren't large, basically suburban high schools, right? Where you might think, okay, it's not uncommon to have large golf, large tennis, maybe some of the other smaller sports. These are 2 small communities kind of hiding in the cornfields of Northwest Ohio that are having large tennis rosters. That's good to see.
Well, I love it because, both these programs too, well represented in volleyball and cross country. They have good numbers, so it's nice to see kids get involved here when you're in high school. I mean, you're only a kid once. Why not get out there and join as many activities as you can, represent your school.
So do we have a change over here, or is this maybe just a water break? Now again, if you're leading like Addie Beecher is, you probably have a ton of adrenaline driving you right now. You don't want a stoppage of play, but again, if you're down 4-2, there we go, keep that camera up, and maybe want to go ahead and try and slow the tempo of this match down. Remy Ryan is doing her thing.
You can't fault any of these kids for taking water breaks. You're not going to be able to take enough. We saw that Friday night when it wasn't near this hot and humid, and how many timeouts did we see for cramps going on? Of course, you get that in August a lot. You're playing on turf, and you had a beautiful but yet warm night if you're in full pads. But here, as you mentioned, the real feel here has to be on that court, 100-plus degrees at match time.
Easily, and right now you see Ryan maybe trying to stretch out just a little bit. You were talking about cramps during football, but not uncommon no matter what sport you're playing, especially when it's 100 degrees real feel. That's just a beautiful ground stroke to paste Ryan deep on the baseline, and right now you saw the fist pump by Beecher. She's starting to feel it.
That was unreturnable. Just a great shot. Just kind of caught the baseline there. Had a lot of rise to it.
And does Ryan need another water break, or is this a changeover? It looks like it is a changeover. And we'll see what the score is adjusted. My guess is it's going to be 5-2 Defiance, but we will see. Or they might not. Boy, I tell you what, you got to feel. And there you see Remy Ryan just trying to stretch out.
Yeah, she's trying to stay hydrated, trying to maybe get rid of a cramp there in her calf.
Go into the water. You can't drink enough today. And as we saw, #1 singles for Defiance, Alyssa Ritchie, she wore it. She just doused herself during multiple changeovers. And it's 4-3, so unable to get the break. So this is going to be a tight one here at #3 singles. So here's my question for you. If you are a coach, do you want either one of your players to realize the match rides with your outcome right now, or do you even say a word? Do you just want them to stay in their own zone and stay focused and not have to carry any extra pressure?
Well, first of all, they know. I mean, you know, you and I are former players. You know what's going on out around you, so you realize that. I think as a coach, this is why you practice the way you do. You don't want to change things up. Well, hey, we got to really try hard now because we need this. I mean, you stay within yourself. You stay with the game plan. You go with what works. And right now, you know, credit Remy Ryan, you know, after dropping the first set, she's done a nice job battling back here. And again, with that service break, she's right on serve once again. Coach
McDonald is bringing us over doubles #2 scores, 6-1, 6-1. And as we had mentioned, basically it all comes down to #3 singles right here. I can tell you what, we're planning on talking with Coach McDonald post-match. We'd love to talk to Alyssa Ritchie. And if Addie Beecher hangs on, I think she deserves a little airtime too. She's giving me the thumbs up. I like the way she thinks, don't you? Always staying positive.
Absolutely, and that always carries over to the kids, as we all know.
And likewise on the other side, you've got Coach Logan Wise and Archbold, and they're one break. They are 3 games away from taking a hard-fought road match. And again, nerves quite often kick in. I can't tell you how often I was serving for a set. You maybe get a little bit tight, but with a match on the line, it's the mental part of the game more so than the physical right now for both of these players, Remy Ryan and Addie Beecher. Can you treat every point from here on out just the same?
Well, that's what's going to be important. You have to, you know, but tennis, as you alluded to, Brent, is the ultimate mind game. I mean, it really is. If you get a chance to read the book, Inner Game of Tennis, such a great sports psychology book. But again, it's about going back to those reps you get all the time you put in the off season and the preseason, and now kind of living it out. But again, the thing about
who
high
wrote
school,
In a Game of Tennis? I'm trying to remember. I can see the picture, but I'm trying to remember the author.
It'll come to me, but those are tricks I've used, especially when I'm playing younger opponents, such as my son-in-law, whoever it might be. I remember my son-in-law borrowed that book for the first time from me. He's like, "Oh, Scoop, that's where you get all these things from. That's why you say this to me when I'm winning a match." So it's about getting in their head sometimes.
Well, I tell you what, because sometimes you need that. You need to be able to think your way through. You need to master the psychological. My tennis coach was also the assistant wrestling coach. So I can tell you this much, we weren't coddled. If my tennis coach back when I was playing my prep days would have written a book, it would have been 1 page long, and it would have said how to stop sucking. I mean, he literally just would simply say, don't do it. You know, your guy would come over and say, but coach, he's serving wide to my backhand, and his answer would be, don't let him do it. Figure it out. Do you have to play wider?
Right.
Do you have to move in? I mean, it was that simple.
There's something to be said for that too. There's nothing wrong with that approach. But we were more from the mind point. If somebody was serving tremendously against you, you would casually go up there and say between on the turnover, the changeover, it's like, wow, what is it about your serve that's
you're trying to play a little head game with him?
And then they'd start thinking about, what is it, And then it kind of changed things. So you do what you can. You want to be a sportsman about it, but yet you want to try to do what you can to try to win the match.
Well, and I would say this too, you have to think your way through a match. So if, say, your opposition's serve has got a nasty kick to it, you should be able to read that after at least the first 3 or 4 service games. And if you see awkward spin, you should know which way it's going to bounce. You should know if you have to take 2 or 3 steps up to take a short ball. If you stay back and you don't make any adjustments, then that's on you as much as it is the opponent, is it not?
That's a great point because, I think there's one key statistic in high school tennis is second serve points converted. If you have a high success rate in second serve points, you're probably going to win that match. So part of that, though, is being in position to make a return on that serve. And if you're the server, it's about placement. It's about spin.
Yes.
It's about a plan. What are you going to do on the return? Not sitting back and admiring the serve, but having a plan and carrying it through. So, again, a lot goes into it. As you mentioned, probably more mental than anything because these kids have the shots. We've seen that here today. These kids have some excellent tennis skills. But now it's the little things and kind of the mind things that can take it to another level.
(4-3). This is the last varsity match still to be played, the number 3 singles. Addie Beecher, the sophomore for Defiance. Remy Ryan, the junior for Archbold. Ryan has been dealing with some cramping here in the second set. Beecher leads 1-0. She is up 4-3 here in set number 2, and you can hear her yell, out.
And that's another strong rally by those two ladies out there. A lot of court coverage on both sides. But eventually, Ryan's shot sails a little bit wide.
Again, we've talked about it before, whether you are trailing or whether you're up. This is the point in time, especially when the pressure's on. Can you master the moment? Can you keep your head up on your shoulders? Can you keep the timing, the tempo from speeding up on you?
Well, that's just it. And again, that goes all back to those practice things. Your coaches tell you all the time you got to practice like it's a match. You can't. This isn't at one speed, then you play at another in a match. So that's why you do that. That's why you prepare them. And that shot that time by Beecher is going to sail a little bit long.
Well, again, different sport, but same principle that we're talking about. I'm assuming you've seen the movie. Now they can't be changing over at 4-4.
It's 4-4. I think they're taking a water break.
Okay, I got you. Yep, we've got to remember.
They do have the sets up there. So Defiance has won the first set. This is the second set.
We're even at 4.
And right now, that time, Remy Ryan holds serve. So right now, knotted up at 4-4.
Now, normally you would not see this, but on a 97-degree day, easily triple digits with the sun and those hard courts soaking up the extra heat. They are allowed to take a water break whenever they need to. And with the match on the line, split evenly, Defiance has taken both singles matches. Archbold has taken both doubles matches. The fulcrum now becomes the number 3 singles. And both players, as you mentioned, Scoop, have got to be aware of it. And credit to them, they're handling themselves very well, but taking a little extra water here. As we aren't ready for the changeover, this becomes crucial. If Beecher holds, she's 1 game away from the win. If Ryan can get the break. She will be serving for not only the match, but the meet. And right now, both players just content to play backstop right now. See if the other might have an unforced error. That ball was a little bit short. That ball's going to sail long, and was it in? It was, and again, a situation here, Scoop, you and I have talked about it, no man's land. And when we say no man's land, right there you see Addie Beecher right where she's standing, the end of the service line, all the way back to the end of the baseline. Any coach will tell you, doesn't matter if you're a baseliner, if you're a serve and volleyer, that is a place that's going to give you trouble if you hang out there too often.
Well, you're right. That's why they call it no man's land. You just don't want to be caught standing in that area. You know, if you're going to be a baseliner, fine. You're back deep behind that. But if you want to get to the net, you've got to get to the net. You can't be indecisive, kind of get caught in between, and thus you get spotted in no man's land.
Beecher trying to work Ryan side to side here. And these two are just, well, as I was about to say, are going to be pictures of accuracy. That ball almost sailed long, trying a minuscule drop shot. And again, in no man's land, Beecher getting away with one there.
Well, that was a tough shot, too, kind of a half volley there.
And there it is,
one
right at her feet.
And that's the reason you're going to get caught up in there. Boy, that's a tough shot to hit down at your ankles, right off the bounce there. One of those tough shots to hit off the rise. And right now, it looks like Remy Ryan has a little bit of momentum here for Archbold.
I'd also say maybe a bit more aggressive for at least this service game in particular. And checking to see where Beecher's serving from. Was it love 30? And that is out. And if I'm not mistaken, because Ryan did win the first 2 points there, that would be point number 3. So this should be triple break point for Remy Ryan.
Yeah, and what an opportunity. Remember, she was down a couple games in this set, but now she's kind of found her stride. If she can break service here, she'll be serving for the second set.
Right now, if you are Beecher, you can only win 1 point at a time. Keep your focus.
I like following the ball.
That's short. Well, she just does not want to come in, does she? And that's a beautiful forehand down the far line.
Yeah, that time, good patience by Beecher, and she's able to come up with that big forehand winner down the line. But you're right, Brent. I think she doesn't feel real comfortable at the net. She's trying to stay near the baseline, but when she gets drawn in, sometimes she gets caught there in the middle.
So right now, this will be 15-40.
Fights off 1 break point, but still has 2 more she's got to fight through.
That is a fault. She does not have a very high toss. And that barely clears the visor of her. And is that a double fault?
No, I think that was
that an ace?
Good serve, I believe. It's kind of hard to tell from the angle we had.
Well, the way she's walking towards the net.
I don't see the ball coming back, so that's going to be a service break.
That's a double fault on a service break, a tough one. And right now, Remy Ryan will serve not only for her match, but to give the Blue Streaks the meet win. We are tied right now at 2 apiece. And there's Coach McDonald having a talk with her sophomore. You're a Renaissance man. And actually, I take that back. She will not be serving for the match. She'd be serving to even this up at 1 set apiece. I stand corrected.
But also trying to get momentum on your side. But momentum really is good as your next serve, basically, in tennis. You know, you can't things aren't always as good as they seem sometimes, and sometimes they're not as bad as they seem the other. You just got to kind of flush the point, go on to the next one, and have that short memory.
I've had the benefit, really the privilege, way younger, and my game wasn't that good, trust me. I was there on my own dime, to attend a few matches at Wimbledon one year. As a matter of fact, I watched the best match that tournament was, I think, a 4th rounder. You might remember these names. Mats Wilander from Sweden beat Pat Cash in a round of 16 game. But we knew the right people, had a chance to kind of tour some of the insides, some of the locker rooms. And for the men's locker room, the tunnel that leads down to center court, there is a couple lines from a Rudyard Kipling poem. Now, I know you're a Renaissance man, but Rudyard Kipling, early 1900s, was kind of a superstar. Poets back then were what musicians are today, right? So put him on the same, who's the most popular male musician right now? Kendrick Lamar. Okay, he'd be the version of Kendrick Lamar. But it's a poem called If. And it starts out, if you can keep your head when all those about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. And it goes down. Every line is if you can do this, if you can do that, given this circumstance. But 2 lines above the men's doorway that lead out to center court, it says, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those 2 imposters just the same. Now, you smile. We've been around the block. We get the meaning of that. Right now, in the heat of this moment, I don't think a sophomore and a junior would quite understand the implications of it. But the point I'm getting at, and hopefully we've given you enough of, I don't know, a tease to go ahead and look up If by Rudyard Kipling on the internet. But what I'm getting at is he's simply saying the difference between success and failure is in your own mind. Can you treat those 2 imposters just the same? There is the match on the line right now for basically Defiance. On the flip side, for Archbold, you hold here and you basically have sauce for the goose, a 3rd set. Can you treat these next 4 points like you would, say, the first 4 points that you opened up the match with?
Yeah, I love that. I love that quote here. And
I gave him enough time to catch his breath and get a drink of water is what I gave him.
And I actually saw Pat Cash play as well. Not in Wimbledon, but saw him down in Indianapolis one time.
Aussie.
What a phenomenal player.
He was built, too. Do you remember his thighs, his legs? He looked like a middle linebacker. Yep. He was thick. Well, right now, and what do we have here? Again, more conversations on this. Are we going to have officials? Both coaches are going to call. Wow, I have not seen this. I'm trying to think ever, Scoop. It would be one thing to do it for one match. Now we're seeing it for the second match of this meet. Goodness. Well, it seems to be good-natured.
So right here, what they're doing, they're explaining the basic rules here. When you have line judges who's going to call the shots, and they'll make it very clear as far as the scoring. But you're right, Brent. This is very unusual. I've only seen it a couple times in all my
So here's my question. What
years.
led to this? Do you think that there had been some questionable calls and that both players feel more comfortable with linesmen right now? Or what do you think preempted what's happening right now?
Well, to my knowledge, as far as high school rules, this has to be predicated by the players. So one of the 2 players requested it. Once you do, each team basically will bring an official. Usually that's a coach. Sometimes it could be,
in this case, we have 2 coaches.
A bystander, but usually it's going to be a coach associated with the team. So, and again, I understand that this match comes down really to number 3 singles here, so you want to make sure you get it right. But as we mentioned, you can count on a hand the times I've seen it in all the years of not just playing, but also commentating tennis matches at both the high school and college levels.
Well, they are working out the responsibilities for each coach, who will be standing on opposite ends of the court. And normally, again, I'm curious because in the number 2 singles, we saw both coaches standing roughly at the net. And I would have thought you might have had them, much like volleyball, standing on opposite diagonal ends of the court to call the edge lines rather than, I mean, what can you accurately see from this vantage point, whether it's here or on the other side of the court? Are you looking at lets? What can you accurately see here?
Well, that's certainly one of the things that's going to come into play is lets, but you're going to be eyes for one side of the court, and the other coach is going to be eyes for the other. Right there, that was one of those close shots there. It looked like Ryan signaled out, and I'm sure that call is going to stand.
Right now, This meet is tied at 2-2. Archbold won both doubles. Defiance won both singles. This is the number 3 singles. Up 1 set to love. Sophomore Addie Beecher for Defiance, but she trails her opponent at number 3, Remy Ryan, 5 games to 4. If Ryan wins this game, they move to a third and deciding set, not a tiebreaker. If somehow that Beecher can come back and win, then even at 5-all, and we continue to play on, potentially into a tiebreak here in the second set.
Right now it should be 15-15, and that ball's going to sail a little bit wide. So Archbold and Remy Ryan take a 30-15 advantage. Ryan now just 2 points away from even this match up at 1 set apiece.
She is serving to the ad court.
Now here's a question. Brent, which would you rather be in? Would you rather be up a set, down a game here in set 2?
Well, clearly you'd rather be up the set.
You would, but from a mental standpoint, if you get that close to winning the match and then you lose that second set, does that have a carryover effect into the third?
You're playing the hypothetical here. Again, my coach would say, why are you even thinking about a third set? You break, you hold, you break. I mean, that's just, we didn't get coddled when we, matter of fact, there were some of my teammates who preferred not to be coached because they knew that they weren't going to get treated with kid gloves. Just wasn't going to happen. So.
And that shot by Ryan sails long, so Beecher secures that point right there.
So are we at break point here? I believe they'll be serving to the ad court, the ad court, correct? Yes, she's going to the far side here. So this is break point. This is a huge point, really, for both players right now. Look at this, Ryan being aggressive, and then she goes back, and she's caught in no man's land. She needs to be careful. Beecher just trying to hit right down the center of the court right now. As a matter of fact, both of them are. So here's the question then, Scoop. If you're going to play, I don't want to call it defensive tennis, but for lack of a better term, it's not aggressive. This is where you maybe are counting on your opponent to make an unforced error. And that is it. So back to deuce. And you saw the body language there from Beecher. She knew she had her where she wanted her, but back to deuce.
Yeah, this is where it's easy if you're not careful to start playing not to lose. You know, instead of being the aggressor, staying with your game.
That's when you get tight.
Sometimes you get cautious, and you know what happens. It's almost like the team with the lead in basketball that starts holding the ball, or the team that goes to the prevent defense.
Yep.
You usually know what's coming next.
You take yourself out of rhythm or routine there.
Yeah.
And there's being aggressive. We haven't seen much of it, but nice job by Ryan to rush the net, come in, and now she has got set point.
Yeah, what a great point here for Remy Ryan. Picked the right time to go to the net, and then a very strong, aggressive volley to net for winner. And now this should be a set point here for Ryan. Again, if she can get this point here.
You saw the deep breath right there, Scoop.
This match will go the distance.
This is, can you treat disaster and triumph just the same? Deep breath, she rushed in. That's going to sail long, or was that ball out? You know what? If you are Logan Wise, I don't think you have a problem with that, though, do you? She got aggressive. She went for it there.
Yeah.
And now you're back to deuce.
She had already called it out.
She went for it, just didn't get it. And she's coming in again. That ball sailing with that wind. Oh my goodness, what a shot to paint her deep. Coming in, and she put her away. Oh my goodness, are you serious? Is that in?
I think that was in. What a
Holy
tremendous
cow.
point.
What a shot by Beecher.
Incredible shot by Addison Beecher, and credit.
Remy Ryan did everything right.
She did. That was an excellent point. She was aggressive. She had her chances. And now
There are times where you just tip your cap to the opponent, don't you?
absolutely. Now a break opportunity coming up for Beecher.
Second one again for Beecher. Boy, low aggressive shot there. We'll see if Beecher decides to do something here. She just kind of shot puts that ball back. And maybe a little tight. Back and forth we go. Another deuce game.
Oh, what a great game it is. We've had multiple deuces here. Both these young ladies have had a chance to win this game, but both times the other one has fought off a game point. So now we're even at deuce once again.
Well, the wind continues to gust. You see Ryan with a deep breath, trying to stay locked in, master the moment. Is that a let? Nope, we'll play on. She's continuing to be aggressive here. It's impressive, but now she's backing up to the baseline. That's going to be short. What a cross-court shot, and can Beecher do something with it? Boy, Ryan really is having to hustle, and that's going to sail over the fence.
Wow, what another great point by both these young ladies out there. Both of them really flirting with the line. I like how they're kind of going for it. We saw some aggressive shots there. Just nipped the line a couple times, inside the line a couple more. And now another break opportunity coming up for Addison Beecher, the sophomore.
I'm looking to the sky here, Scoop. The sun has disappeared. I'm not sure what the forecast called for late afternoon or early evening. I'm seeing some dark clouds coming in from the west. I'm not sure if rain was forecast or not. It has certainly cooled things down here. That's a beautiful shot at the feet. And again, Ryan continuing to be aggressive. Didn't come fully in that time, but just enough.
This is perhaps the longest game of the night here on any of the 5 courts. And we have ourselves another deuce. Yeah, the wind has died down. There's still a good breeze. There's still a nice breeze, but certainly not gusty like we saw it earlier in this match.
So another deuce. Ryan just kind of patty caking that one back over. Does Ryan want to come in or not? She's looks like she's been toying with it, and was that ball out? So again, another break point here for Addie Beecher. Beecher trying to get the break and get back to 5 games all here in the second set. I thought Beecher might haul off on that one. She had her where she wanted her, but she just kind of was a little too nice right down the middle. Scoop, I think what you've got right now are 2 athletes that understand the importance of this point, and they're more than okay than just playing as I was about to say, play a long point and try and force, or not even force, but wait for your opposition to make the unforced error, and that time it's Ryan.
Wow, what a great game that time from Beecher. Really battled there. And after fighting off a set point or two, she's able to knot this second set up.
5 all, and I think
apiece.
And you see Ryan sitting down there. And they're not. This is not a changeover, but they're taking a water break, as both athletes clearly need it. Ryan has been dealing with cramps here in this second set. And did I just see Beecher take her shoe off? She's got a heavy brace on her left ankle. And we'll see if that's treatment. She wants some ice. Looks like she might be getting it, and I'm not sure if that's to drink or if that's for the ankle.
Anything to help cool your body temperature down. These athletes have been out here now for a couple hours here in this high heat index here at Defiance High School.
I'm just watching as we take a break. They know what's on. It's not just the physical here, it is also the mental. What we're going to do is take a quick timeout. This is not a true changeover, but this is a water break. We'll take a quick timeout. 5 all, set number 2, the pivotal singles third match when we come back on DCTV Sports.
Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Past 70 years.
And we are back. 5-all. This is not a changeover, except it was a water break. It has been extremely hot. Temperatures in the 90s, real feel, triple digits. This is the last match of this meet. Defiance and visiting Archbold tied at 2-2. Defiance won both singles matches. Archbold won both doubles matches. So the pivotal match, number 3 singles. You can't get much closer. Right now, up 1-0 is sophomore Addie Beecher. She just broke Remy Ryan, the junior. Ryan was trying to serve out the second set and force a third set. Right now, at 5-all, this becomes another crucial match. Or pardon me, another crucial game, excuse me.
Yeah, really every point from this juncture just kind of feels like the match is sort of riding on it, and both these players doing a great job extending points. That one by Ryan just a little bit long, and Beecher takes a 15-love advantage here, trying to hold service here, tied 5-5.
Well, if she were able to, she would go up 6-5, would still need a break, but right now, that all-important game right here, it swings on it. She does not have a very high toss. She really comes underneath that ball with a ton of spin, trying to draw her opponent in. She likes to lob over him. That is her game plan. She's trying to keep Ryan posted deep.
Oops. I didn't mean to do that.
And that one by Beecher into the net. So once again, they just keep kind of trading punches.
Yep.
And credit both these players. They each keep getting up. You know, we've seen momentum swings here in the second set off and on by both these players. 15-love, another crucial point coming up here for both.
Well, that ball barely cleared the net. Now, Ryan came in, but she immediately backpedals back. She's in no man's land right now. And that's going to go long.
Oh, consecutive points now for Remy Ryan.
Scoop, they do not have lights here. We are closing in on the 7 o'clock hour, and with some dark clouds coming over, not to say that there isn't enough light, but I'm curious as to how much more light there is should this go to a third set.
Well, if they do, would they change it and go a pro set tiebreaker because of the heat?
I would think you would
because
need
of the
to.
lightness, you know, the light factor.
Pro set, what are you looking at? Probably a pro set to 8?
Or 10. I mean,
if times are the essence.
I've seen it. I know in the Toledo area they sometimes do that.
Well, if you go pro set, and ladies and gentlemen, instead of first 1 to 6 having to win by 2, it's the first one you just play 8 total games. But that's a beautiful lob right there by Beecher.
Boy,
that is her bread and butter.
Fantastic shot. And, I think with the elements the way they've been, they'd probably keep that number as low as they could. Honestly,
I think you would play a pro set to 8, and you would go no ad. Yep. We used to do that quite a bit. You go no ad, pro set to 8.
Yeah, that's a college men game. No ad anymore. They also have no let, as do the women in college. Last year they went to no let as well.
I believe this is 30-15. Beecher with the lead. Oh, what a shot by Ryan, and that might sail long. Nope, it stays in, and again, she got wrong-footed. That went right off the frame of her racket, and you can hear the applause by the Defiance gallery that's still here.
Yeah, I believe it now is deuce. I believe this is deuce coming up.
Yes,
so, again,
it is.
Another huge point here. Well, that shot just inside the baseline.
Neither one of these players want to come in. They are content to just stay back.
Yeah, you have two similar styles, both being baseliners, and that makes for extended matches a lot of times, as we're seeing here today.
Well, that ball pushed back across the net, and that one's going to sail wide. So add in, or as we would say, advantage Beecher.
Wow, this would be huge here for Beecher after fighting off one break point. Now she has a chance to hold serve
and go up 6-5. Well, the question is, Can you stay frosty? And what is the conversation here?
Just making sure they're serving to the correct court, which should be the ad court, and there it is.
It is. That's short. Ryan's going to have to come in on it, but she doesn't want to stay there. Beecher has to come in on it. She doesn't want to stay there. She's in trouble. And again, Scoop, I know she doesn't like to do it, but there are some times, and again, we've been going back to our days of the dinosaurs, but we were always coached, if you have to come in and your momentum is taking you inside the service line, then just come in.
Yeah.
Force the opponent to pass you.
Well, you saw it right there. Beecher backpedaling. Credit Ryan. She knew what was happening. She took advantage. She had a nice, deep forehand that was unreturnable. And now we're back to deuce here. Another huge point for both.
Nice cross court by Ryan. Nice return by Beecher. Steady and measured right now between these two players. Maybe not quite as orthodox cross-court shot, but Ryan covers a lot of the court. Nobody wants to make a mistake. Uh-oh, and that's a miss hit. So now break point for Ryan.
That time looked like a little bit of fatigue there for Addison Beecher. Did not really get her foot preparation where it needed to be, and thus she ended up lunging, reaching for that shot. Now a huge point here is break point for Remy Ryan.
Yeah, me too.
Beecher. That sail's a little bit long, so now Ryan will be looking at a second serve. Probably hear Huey Lewis from the soccer match across the parking lot blaring over our headsets. Second serve. And that sails wide. I was about to say Ryan getting caught in no man's land. Scoop, it's a tough habit to break until you actually realize, okay, one or two steps is usually the difference, especially back toward the baseline.
And again, I think this will come for both these players as they get varsity experience, varsity reps. You know, right now you can see it. Once they get to the net, as soon as they make that shot, they're both backpedaling, trying to get back in their comfort zone, so to speak.
Problem is their comfort zone is no man's land. Is that in? Nope,
That
it
was
is
out.
long. Whew, goodness. You can see Coach Wise's reaction right there. He's thinking you just bought yourself another opportunity, young lady. You see it right there, 1-0. Beecher for Defiance with the lead. We're tied at 5 games all here in set number 2. Now that was a good aggressive move right there by Addie.
It really was. Tremendous shots here. It really kind of caught Remy Ryan by surprise. She tried to make a strong half volley there deep in the court. That's one of the toughest shots to make in tennis.
Boy, she's got Ryan pinned deep here, actually both of them, and that's not got enough on it.
And we've seen that a lot today, hitting into that wind, taking too much off. Another break point here.
Uh-oh, boy, that's a tough shot by Ryan, and she just got it. Break point for Remy Ryan.
Well, that's awfully big there for Ryan. You know, after you had a chance to close out the set with your serve, you were broken, but then she flushes it, comes back, was able to break serve. Now Remy Ryan up 6-5 in the second
Let's
set.
go ahead and take a break. Yes, up 6-5. Remy Ryan will try and serve out the second set. She trails 1-0. This match, Archbold and Defiance, is tied at 2 apiece. We're back after this on DCTV Sports.
Stanball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stanball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
I'm back at Defiance High School right there. You see, undoubtedly a very tired Remy Ryan for Archbold. She's been battling cramps in this second set. She has broken Addie Beecher. She trails 1 set to love, but she is now up 6-5. That score post is not accurate. It is 6-5 Archbold. We do not see the sophomore Addie Beecher in your shot right now. We see Coach McDonald jogging to the other side of the tennis complex here. And right now, what are you telling that young lady who looks like she is, number one, she's hydrating, she's sitting, she realizes if she holds serve, it goes to a critical set 3. And on the left side of your screen there, you see the sophomore Addie Beecher alone with her thoughts right now.
Well, right now I think you're just you're reminding your athlete what a great job they're doing and to keep utilizing their strengths, which we've seen here, especially Ryan here down the stretch. Remember, she was trailing 4-2.
Yes.
Now she leads 6-5, but she's done a nice job of really minimizing mistakes. We've seen her get aggressive at times. It's paid off. I'm sure Coach Wise would love to see her get a little bit more aggressive.
Coach McDonald, I'm trying to tell what that is. It doesn't look like a water cooler. It looks like a trainer's case, and is hopefully Addie Beecher's okay. That looks like a trainer's box. You can see both head coaches there. Coach Wise for Archbold, Coach McDonald for Defiance, exchanging pleasantries with the meet on the line. I'm feeling rain. I'm starting to feel it.
We've had some rumblings way off in the distance, but now we are getting a few sprinkles here.
Oh my goodness! I mean, obviously you decide how much of it you can play in. But
right now you see them looking at the radar, I believe, on their phone to see how much time do we have before it hits us.
Do you call this? Yeah. I mean, if you are Remy Ryan, you certainly would want, I would think, the opportunity to serve out to at least tie things up at a set apiece.
Right now,
I think she might be cramping too. She's having problems with that left ankle.
If you deal with cramps or ankle, you do have a 15-minute timeout for an injury.
And it is sprinkling now.
This would qualify, so.
I left both of my the guys are going to set up the tent for us. Ryan and Tristan doing the job. You can see the rain on the camera. But the rain is now starting to come down. I'm going to be adjusting some of our paperwork so that it doesn't get soaked.
And now the rain really starting to pick up. You can see it there on the screen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
A little bit more. Boy, once these courts get wet, you're not going to have the drying time probably it's going to take to resume this match.
I don't know.
You can only hope, but we'll see what happens here.
Have you ever played on clay?
Yes.
I always likened playing on a wet hard court like playing on clay. It slows down a ton. The ball does not bounce as high. Now, I can't imagine that we're going to play, and I don't know how long this system is set to come through. We may need to call Coach McDonald over and see what their decision is. Boy, you'd hate to call it, but at the same time, if the weather is not going to cooperate, I don't know what choice you have.
Yeah, you really don't. But again, this has been a tremendous match.
Our crew doing more than yeoman's work, getting the tent up quickly here.
Our crew in their 2-minute drill,
yes.
trying to keep all the equipment
It's like
dry.
getting the tarp out for a baseball game, baby. It's coming down heavy now. It is coming down heavy. And
yeah, I would say it's safe to say we probably have seen our last tennis. We'll see if we can maybe talk to Coach McDonald and get an update when we can.
The irony is I've been keeping an umbrella in my bag. Yeah, I think they're done. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick timeout. It's going to be more than a quick timeout. Make it a good 2 minutes, Tristan. We're going to try and get confirmation, but my guess is this meet is done.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Stadium Drive in Defiance and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com. The Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level. The Strady Center for the Arts presents a full lineup of culture and entertainment right here in our community. Check out the full lineup and purchase your tickets today at defiancearts.org.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
Well, welcome back here to Defiance High School. As you can see, we've been hit with some rain here deep in this match. And right now, as things currently stand, Defiance, after winning number 1 and 2 singles and 1 and 2 doubles, we're all knotted up in 2 and 2. In the final point coming down to 3 singles, as we have a good one, but it's been delayed here by the rain. But Remy Ryan for Archbold playing number 3 singles, dropped the opening set to Addison Beecher of Defiance, but then she was able to come back. She has a 6-5 advantage here in the second set, and that's when the rain hit. So right now the match is suspended. I do not think they'll resume here today. We're trying to get confirmation on that. In just a little bit of time, we'll try to talk to Victoria's #1 singles player, Alyssa Ritchie, who was impressive tonight, defeating Archbold's Jade Whitaker 6-love at #1 singles. But again, unfortunately, the rain came into play. These players did such a great job for nearly 2.5 hours, not just battling the heat in the sun, the wind, but now they've had to deal with the rain, and right now this match stands suspended as we wait confirmation from here. But both these teams right now in the midst of a big week. Last night, Defiance was able to pull off a WBL win, traveling to St. Mary's and coming home with the W. Archbold lost last night on the road in Toledo to Maumee Valley Country Day by a 5-0 score. And both these teams will have matches tomorrow and Thursday. But right now we're going to try to get a hold of not just Alyssa Ritchie, but maybe Coach Amy McDonald, as we've been treated to a fantastic match, and it was certainly in the balance there watching the #3 singles trying to battle it out. Yeah, right now it looks like we will get a chance to talk to Victoria's Alyssa Ritchie here. As congratulations on the match. We'll give you a headset. You step over here.
Let's bring her over just a little bit. Oops, there you go.
All right.
I'm going to move this so you can come on in, get in the shot. Since she is the person of the moment right here. All right. I believe we're hot here, then, are we not?
We're good to go.
We're back at Defiance. So we've been back, it looks like. So see, this is the stuff that you don't see in commercial that makes the broadcast run. Brent Babinot alongside Scoop Miller. The rain has almost stopped. It's very light right now, but it was a deluge. So, Scoop, I'm being told right now they're breaking out the squeegees, and they are going to try and finish this match up. Speaking of finishing matches up, she did hers very quickly.
Yes.
Miss Ritchie, congratulations to
Thank
you.
you.
6-love.
Yes, it was very fun, honestly. I love playing tennis. It's great.
How long have you been playing?
Well, I started my sophomore year, actually. So it's about my 3rd year playing tennis.
Okay. What would you say you made your most improvement? What type of player were you 3 years ago compared to the player you are now?
I'm still the same player. I never stop. I'm out on this court, and the only way I'm off is if I get kicked off that thing.
Okay, but how about areas of your game? Serve reception, serve return. Where do you say how much better are you in any particular area than you were 3 seasons ago?
I'm so much better. Honestly, I'm trying to keep improving every day, every time I come out on this court. And it takes a lot to do that. So that's why I like to encourage the girls on this team a lot, because I know that they can get there, and I played just like them.
Well, Alyssa, your game was really impressive today. It looked like you were locked in from the get-go. You came out really firing early, and then you just never let up. I thought all your shots were there. Tell us a little bit about what was really working well for you tonight.
Well, I did a lot of practice beforehand. The game before this was a lot of help, definitely. That was a really tough one. So a lot of help on the backhands, the forehands, really getting it over the shoulder. That's what really helps with this.
Now, if you can't tell, I have one arm on the tent. Our entire crew has at least. Matter of fact, your teammates are chipping in here. Beth's doing a great job. So that's because she doesn't want it to fall over on her. We're going to get to you in just a second. But as you can tell, the wind is gusting. It's not just light. Depending on whether it was at your back or you were staring into it, how much did that affect your game? What type of adjustments did that require today?
So the wind was going right towards me. I was looking at the leaves on the ground because I could see where they're going. And with my serve, I kind of did it a little more lightly just to get it in because wind's unpredictable. Just want to make sure I got it in.
How long did it take you to adjust?
Well, you see, whenever I'm out there serving, I stand there for quite a while.
We noticed.
Sending up a prayer, I'm like, all right, wind, I don't like you. Pop it in.
Wow. So she rebuked the wind, Scoop. She's got extra power that we don't know about.
There you go. Hey, how did the heat affect you today? I know this is kind of hard to simulate in practice because we just haven't had a lot of 95-degree days, but you seem to handle it well. What's the key when you're playing this type of temperature?
Well, it was really hot, and it's honestly a bit hotter out on the courts because you don't have all this shade around you. And what I figured out is best is just dumping a whole lot of cold water on me.
We noticed you showered, it looked like,
I did.
out of your water bottle. But did the heat bother you at all then, or were you able to stay hydrated and cooled off?
I'm really bad with the heat, but I do what I can to kind of alleviate it.
In talking with Coach prior to the meet, and we noticed it in watching you, you don't seem to be in any rush. Do you like a slower tempo?
Yeah, taking your time, it helps. Rushing yourself, it's not a good thing in tennis because you'd overthink and you'd get it wrong. So you need to take your time.
One last question. How important is it to have somebody like Maria to practice against day in and day out to prepare you for tough matches against the Archbolds, the WBL, and those teams that you have on your schedule?
It's really nice. Honestly, someone who can really match your level, it's kind of like two knives sharpening each other. It's a real battle, and we were planning on playing another battle, like a whole set, just to get each other really going. So we put a little bet on the line.
Iron sharpens iron. There you go.
And they both were pretty sharp today. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. Speaking of Mitch Moria Chavez, we're going to talk to her when we come back. They're still squeegeeing off the courts. We still have a all-important number 3 singles match that will determine who wins this one here this afternoon. Don't you go anywhere. We're back with more Defiance Girls Sports Tennis on DCTV Sports.
Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
She was once rookie like 3 years ago, and now she's country club.
We welcome you back as they are still squeegeeing off the courts. Hard to believe, but the rain has kicked back up. So we're going to cross our fingers and hope that Mother Nature cooperates at least for the next, what would you say, 15, maybe 30 minutes, as Defiance and Archbold are tied right now. The Bulldogs won both their singles. As a matter of fact, the second singles winner we're going to talk to here in just a second, as the Blue Streaks won both doubles. The number 3 singles match right now is suspended with it is Beecher up 1-0, but down, was it 6-5?
6-5 in the second set.
6-5 in the second set. So we're going to hold, cross our fingers, and hope that we can get this one in. Right now, though, she is a senior, Maria Moria Chavez, and she played at number 2 singles this afternoon and won handily, 6-2, 6-love. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
She's all smiles right now, Scoop, and she earned it. She can certainly be so. I'm going to ask you the same questions, though, that we asked Miss Ritchie over there. The heat, the wind, there's a lot of variables when you play an outdoor sport.
Yeah.
How much were they a factor today?
They were definitely a factor today. I warmed up with Alyssa before, the match started, and Archbold got here. We were hitting those deep, nice cross-court shots, and then I tried doing the same thing as I was playing, and the wind kind of pushed my shots a bit too out. So it definitely affected, and the heat, you get exhausted way too easily. So it was a big factor today.
Well, you really closed out the match on a bang there, win that second set 6-0. What really turned the tide? You had some great moments that first set. We were kind of going in and out, watching it a little bit, then going back to 1 singles. But looked like you had some struggles there in that first set. The second set, no looking back. What was it that turned the tide?
I feel like it was a very turn point in which being a singles player is mentally tough and also physically tough, so you just kind of got to calm yourself a bit. I just I just want to do my best so we can win a lot of matches, and I feel like we have a really good team this year, and I want to be able to be there and get wins for my teammates and for myself. So that's kind of like what was like, oh, I really need to do good in this second set so we don't go through our third set, and it's even a longer process then.
Now, your styles, I've been told by Coach McDonald, are very similar. You're both baseline players. You don't come in too much. So you've got to be pretty consistent. What's your game plan? No matter who you're playing, what's your strategy?
Well, my strategy is always making them run. If I hit it to this side and they run to get it, then I hit it to the other side, and I just kind of keep them running. Sometimes they figure that out and they make me run a bit. Or it all depends. Like if I see that they're bad at getting those short shots, I aim for those. And if I see that they're bad at the back shots, then I also aim for those. So it all depends. Kind of like being part of being a tennis player is you kind of have to analyze the situation. So you don't walk in with a certain mindset of exactly what you're gonna do. You kind of just know depending on the situation. So that's a good skill too.
Well, you've talked about the mental importance of tennis, but talk about this week a little bit with that in mind, the fact that you had a match last night, you played today, you've got two just around the corner here, tomorrow and Thursday and so forth. Tell us the importance there of having that strong mind and what's going to take to get through a big week like this week. I
feel like not only for my tennis girls, but for every athlete, you need to take care of yourself, and that is definitely a big factor. You need to, get enough hours of sleep, and have all your meals, and that gives you enough energy to get back out there the next day and fight as hard as you can to win your match. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing this week. It has been pretty exhausting. It's day 2. We've got 2 more to go, but I'm really excited and I'm really looking forward to it.
Scoop, she doesn't have the physical. She's got the mental down right now. My guess is in about another 15, 20 years, we're going to be talking to Coach Sanchez. She's got it down. Yeah. Right now, we're not going to graduate you too soon. Still got the rest of the season to go. Congratulations, though. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a quick timeout. We are back with more right after this on DCTV Sports.
Discover top-quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top-quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Stadium Drive in Defiance and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com. The Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level. The Strady Center for the Arts presents a full lineup of culture and entertainment right here in our community. Check out the full lineup and purchase your tickets today at defiancearts.org.
We welcome you back. The rain has lightened up, although it's still sprinkling. They are busy squeegeeing the courts right now. They're going to try to finish up the number 3 singles match here. Unfortunately, the rain and our electrical equipment do not mix very well, so we're going to have to strike the set here. But before we do, we wanted to make sure we get Coach McDonald on. My goodness. How do you say we wish for sun in Spanish? Goodness, sole.
Queremos el sol.
Sol. I can do it in Italian. I can't do it in Espanol. Italiano, no problema. But right now, where this match sits, tied. Archbold won both doubles. Defiance won both singles. Matter of fact, we had both your number 1 and number 2 singles players on.
Nice.
Before we know the outcome of this, I guess I just want to get your take on it, though. How much you're pleased with your team's performance today?
Oh, I'm very happy with how they've played today. And we had a lot of different girls playing with different partners today for second doubles, and they played really well. I mean, they didn't win, but they adjusted, and I'm pleased with how they played. And our singles played really hard. I'm happy with how they've played. And that third singles match, those girls are matched up very well. They have 2 very different styles of play, but they are countering each other and countering each other's style, and they just keep fighting, both of them. So it's really fun tennis to watch.
And, Coach, I know it's still August, but give us an early season report card from where they started, day 1, to what you saw here this afternoon.
So day 1, so as a coach, we try to be as positive as we can, but realistically, I know that we have a lot of brand new players. With that inexperience, it's hard to play in the WBL or in the schools that are in this area because, like, as you've seen, Archbold is a small school, but they have a lot of players, and we come across that with a lot of different schools. Our last year team they were 7 or 8 players, so there wasn't a whole big pool of people to pull from. So realistically, I was hoping for a couple of wins here and there, and maybe just in a match, if I was hoping for not a 0, get 1 or 2 wins. If we got 3, then great. And so now here we are. We have 3 wins, 3 losses, but our 3 losses, they were good losses. Nobody gave up. Everybody played hard. I am very happy with where our team is right now.
You talk a little bit about your senior leadership. As a matter of fact, we had Alyssa Ritchie and Maria Moreira Chavez. Ritchie hears her name and she stops. She's walking away. They're both over there on social media. They strike me as sisters from another mister. They're related by not necessarily blood, but by the game of tennis.
Yes.
But can you talk about their leadership and just what they've meant to a lot of the younger players?
I have really appreciated both of them very, very much so. So even before I decided to take on this coaching position, Alyssa was working with the girls in the winter at Defiance College with the boys tennis team with Coach Bates, also with Coach Nate and his wife, Coach Val, and she was getting girls interested in tennis in the winter. And I thought that showed just a tremendous amount of leadership right there. She's very positive. She shares her love of tennis, and it shows. Nothing gets her down, and so I just appreciate that so much. And then we have Maria. She wasn't real sure if she was going to come out or not, and then she decided to continue playing, which made me very happy because I knew she had a lot of experience, and she is very passionate about tennis, and she shows that when she plays. She goes after every ball. She never gives up. Sometimes people don't know how to handle her passion because she displays that. She's very fiery, and so but it wins. Like she does a good job. She's not going to give up. She's not going to quit. She knows the rules of tennis. You're not going to outthink her. So it's very fun to have both of them. I really appreciate the positiveness that they bring to the team with new kids that are coming.
Yeah, and talk about the heat today. I mean, we talked about it enough on the air, but how do you really prepare your kids for this situation? I know you gave them extra drink breaks today, which I thought was huge. We saw a little bit of cramping for the most part. I thought was pretty good, but I thought your kids really handled it today well.
They did. And I would say, I'm going to kind of throw out a thank you to band also, because when we're playing in the summer before August 1st hits, when it's mandatory practice, band has 2-a-days, and so tennis works in between that. So they're here at 7:30 in the morning. They have a break in the afternoon, so we're playing tennis from 2 to 4. Then they're back here from band from 6:30 to 9:30, and that happens for a full week. So half of these girls are in band. They go 14 hours a day, and so they can handle that. And then the other girls, they're used to the heat too, because we played in 2 to 4 from 2 to 4 in July, and so they know what this heat is like. I mean, it's not fun, but they know how to handle it, and they do a good job with it. So it's nothing new to Northwest Ohio. So Archbold handled it really well. So did the Defiance girls. So it is a challenge, but it's nice to be outside. Like
It's nice to be
good.
outside when it's not raining.
When it's not raining.
We could had no problems with the 97-degree temperatures, the 100-plus degree real feel.
Yes.
Rain does make a difference, especially with our equipment. We're going to have to strike because it doesn't mix well with a
Right.
lot of our gear. So we apologize that we aren't able to get this one finished up. We
Yeah.
do want to remind people, though, too, you are here for the next 2 days as
Correct.
well. Tomorrow,
Yes.
which would be Thursday, against Ayersville.
Wednesday.
Pardon me, Wednesday. I keep thinking we're a day ahead.
It's okay.
Wednesday versus Ayersville, and then Thursday, home versus Van Wert.
Correct.
So you had a really good crowd out here today, but
We did.
your call. What would you say to anybody that's still thinking about it or maybe hasn't come out yet but would like to see Defiance girls tennis?
Oh, we have had a lot of people from Defiance come that have never watched tennis before. Even when we were at St. Mary's yesterday, we had there were grandparents that came that were from St. Mary's, and they were asking me about tennis. So if you come, you'll find out what a fun sport it is to watch. I would say it's more fun to play, but it is really fun to watch. So come out, enjoy the weather. We do have shade. There's lots of people here. You might find somebody that you haven't seen in a while. It's free. So, and just cheer on the girls playing tennis and doing their best they can to represent their community.
Right now, a good number of them are out squeegeeing and sweeping the courts, as well as the rest of the staff trying to get this finished up. We will let you know how this one finishes, but Coach, we appreciate you giving us access to your players. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck to you, not just with this one, but the rest of the season.
Thank you. And thanks for the break, because I was squeegeeing. So
We do what we can. We do what we can. Scoop, I was worried they were going to ask us to start squeegeeing, so that's why we grabbed the coach and bring her over. We have an excuse. We're going to take a quick time out. We're back with more right after this on DCTV Sports.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
I can't squeegee.
Throw us
DCTV's
under the
here.
bus.
We are joking with Coach McDonald off camera right now, having a good time as the sun is peeking out from behind the clouds. They still are working on getting at least one court ready to wrap up or at least finalize the number 3 singles match. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring it to you due to the wet conditions here. But Scoop, a situation here where we saw two teams that really got after each other, and as Coach McDonald mentioned, Defiance is here tomorrow and Thursday as well. The call goes out for anybody to come out and support the Bulldogs.
Yeah, what a great turnout we had today. What a great competitive match. You know, it was back and forth. Both teams even at 2-2, and Defiance winning that first set in 3 singles, but then Archbold come